My name is Lakshmi and I am the student of class 9A of SOSI. First of all, I would like to tell you that what is Indian Freedom Movement. Indian Freedom Movement, also called Indian Independence Movement, it is a series of activities that took place with the ultimate goal of bringing an end of British rule in India. The movement during Indian freedom struggle spanned for 90 years, that is from 1857 to 1947. Hence, my speech aims to give a timeline of Indian freedom movements. First is Revolt of 1857. The Revolt of 1857 was a major blow for the British supremacy in the Indian subcontinent in the second half of the 19th century. It was the first expression of organized resistance against the British East India Company. This revolt is known by several names like the Sepoy Mutiny, the First War of Independence, the Great Rebellion, and many more. Many social, economic, religious, and military causes were responsible for bringing the unrest and discontent, which ultimately led to the uprising of 1857. And the next is Indian National Congress formed. It was the first organized expression of Indian nationalism on an all-Indian scale. In India, we notice the process of the beginning of political awakening since 1860, which took a major leap forward in 1870 to 1880, and finally led to the founding of the Indian National Congress. And next one is the partition of Bengal in 1905. The first partition of Bengal was a temporary reorganization of the Bengal Presidency implemented by the authorities of the British Raj. The reorganization separated the largely Muslim eastern areas and the largely Hindu western areas. The boycott and Swadeshi movement. The Swadeshi movement started with the partition of Bengal in 1905 and continued up to 1911. Boycott was one of the practices used in the Swadeshi movement. It involved the boycott of British products like cotton textiles manufactured in Britain, and instead leaders of the movement advocate the use of Indian products. The Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. Rowlatt Act, 1919. The Rowlatt Act was passed by the British government to increase their grip on power over the common folk. This law was passed in March 1919 by the Imperial Legislative Council, which gave them the power to arrest any person without any trial. To abolish this act, Gandhi and the other leaders called for Hartal to show Indian objection to this rule, called the Rowlatt Satyagraha. And the next one is Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. Due to Rowlatt Act, serious disturbance placed in Punjab, where the government declared this law. A public meeting was being held at Jallianwala Bagh on April 13, 1919, when General Dyer arrived at the spot and in order to disperse the meeting, ordered his troops to fire upon the people. In it, hundreds of people were killed and thousands were wounded. A wave of horror and indignation swept over the country following the incident. The Khilafat movement in 1920. Turkey was defeated in the First World War. The Sultan of Turkey was deprived of his political power and authority. This agitated the Muslims of India, as the Sultan was regarded as the Khalifa of religious of the head of the Muslims of the entire world. The Indian Muslims wanted to pressurize the government in Britain to restore the powers of the Khalifa. Thus, the Khilafat movement was launched in 1920 by two brothers, Muhammad Ali and Saukat Ali. They were supported by Maulana Azhar, Hazrat Mohani and Hakim Azhar Khan. The Indian National Congress too supported the Ali brothers. The Ali brothers now wanted to start a non-cooperation movement against the British under the leadership of Gandhiji. The non-cooperation movement from 1920 to 1922. Congress decided at its Nagpur session to start a non-cooperation movement under the leadership of Gandhiji. Tilak and Gandhiji viewed this as an opportunity to bring Muslims into the national movement. So the Congress decided to support the Khilafat movement. Thus the Khilafat movement and non-cooperation movement emerged on 1st August 1920. The movement aimed at protesting against British repression in Punjab and their policy toward Turkey. It was also for the attainment of Swaraj. Now, I would like to call Srishti to complete the remaining speech. Thank you.
Chowra incident took place in Gorakhpur district. After this incident, Mahatma Gandhi called off non-cooperation movement. Then in 1927, Simon Commission came to India. In 1928, Bhagat Singh killed a senior British officer in Lahore. Then in December 1929, declaration of full Swaraj in Lahore. Then between March and April 1930, beginning of civil disobedience movement with Gandhiji's hard march to the sea at Dandi to oppose the British theft of land or Swaraj Dandi March. On 5th March 1931, Gandhi Pact was signed. In 1932, Pune Pact was signed between Ambedkar and Gandhiji. In 1935, Government of India Act was signed. Then in 1939, all Congress ministers resigned. In 1942, Quit India movement was launched by Gandhiji. It was the third major movement against British rule. In 1942, this movement was attacked by British Governor headed by Sir Stamford Cripps. In 1943, the Great Bengal Famine was witnessed, which hit the Bengal province of departition. It causing the death of millions of people. In 1947, after so much struggle, India achieved freedom from the British rule. I hope this information will be about the freedom struggle